Item number SCP-043 Object Class Safe Special Containment Procedures. SCP-043 requires no special containment, although it is recommended that SCP-043 may not be used for purposes other than testing. A turntable is to be maintained in the same room for testing. Description: SCP-043 appears to be a vinyl copy of the White Album by the Beatles. However, upon closer inspection, the record has no grooves. In spite of this, the record will still play from start to finish, regardless of the starting position of the needle. When the 29th track is reached, instead of playing Revolution 9, the disc stops spinning and faint breathing can be heard. Occasionally, the entity responsible for the breathing will speak in a male voice. The entity will respond to questions and shows a profound encyclopedic knowledge of the music industry, musical theory, and obscure trivia about many bands and artists. However, the entity refuses to answer questions regarding the Beatles or its own personnel details. Inside the jacket, a small handwritten note was found, reading, "Limited edition, 1 of 1. Thanks, John." Item number SCP-127 Object Class Safe Special Containment Procedures. SCP-127 is considered no more dangerous than a normal firearm of its type. However, due to its extraordinary properties, it is to be held in Weapons Locker 7C when not in use and suspended in water rich in calcium and protein. At this time, only the research team assigned to SCP-127 has clearance to access it. Description: SCP-127, upon first glance, appears to be a standard MP5K submachine gun. Tests have revealed that aside from the outer steel and polymer shell, the entirety of the firearm is organic and alive. The weapon's ammunition initially appeared to be human-like teeth. However, DNA testing of the bullets resulted in no match to any known species on Earth. SCP-127 features two settings, semi-automatic and fully automatic. An audible groan can be heard when switching between the two. Upon depleting the weapon's magazine, typically 60 shots, it takes between 3 to 5 days to regrow a new supply of ammunition. Attempts to remove the magazine have resulted in failure. It seems to be permanently attached to the weapon. SCP-127 does not seem capable of reproduction at this time. Scans have shown no apparent reproductive organs and requires no sustenance beyond water, calcium, and protein. SCP-127 was originally located in the house of a Mr. James. Mr. was found dead from a heart attack on the night of November 17, 1991. Coroner's reports state that Mr. died sometime in the morning of November 8th, but was not noticed missing until more than a week later. No complications or unusual circumstances were found to lead to his death. Due to his extensive gun collection, the ATF and FBI were notified to collect his weapons. SCP-127 was discovered during testing and cataloging and was promptly collected by SCP agents. Addendum: Reclassified as safe. 1990. Item number SCP-632 Object Class Euclid Special Containment Procedures. A live colony of SCP-632 is currently kept in a 20 cm by 40 cm by 20 cm sealed enclosure in the Biological Containment Wing of Site-52. Sufficient amounts of prey insects and water must be administered weekly through a vacuum chute at the side of the enclosure. Both live and deceased samples of SCP-632 must be handled by personnel wearing full-body respiratory protective gear. Skin contact with SCP-632 instances is to be avoided at all times. Personnel reporting headaches, sensations of spider silk on skin, and intrusive thoughts about spiders must submit to MRI scans to determine the presence of SCP-632 manifestation. Affected individuals are to be sedated and restrained before the onset of late-stage manifestation, and any newly formed SCP-632 instances are to be surgically removed. Uncontained instances of SCP-632 in the wild are to be destroyed on site. Description: SCP-632 is a type of arachnid that reproduces via unconventional means. Mature instances measure 10 to 50 mm in length and are highly social, living in colonies numbering up to 500 individuals. While the exoskeleton of SCP-632 instances is composed of a substance resembling calcified fat, the interior is almost entirely derived from differentiated human brain tissue. SCP-632 is unusual among arachnid species in that both male and female SCP-632 are physiologically similar. Sexual organs of both appear to be merely vestigial, likely as a result of its reproductive methods. SCP-632 reproduces by exposing a human host to an array of sensory triggers. Such triggers include the visual patterns on SCP-632's abdomen, the tactile sensation produced by SCP-632 crawling on human skin, and several as yet unidentified chemical compounds released by mature SCP-632 instances. 2 to 3 hours following exposure to all of SCP-632's sensory triggers, affected individuals will experience mild headaches, sensations of spider silk on their skin, and repeated intrusive thoughts about spiders. MRI scans at this stage of infection reveal the presence of hundreds of small filament-like structures, measuring 2 to 3 centimeters in length, forming the frontal cortex of infected individuals' brains. The mechanism of cellular differentiation is as yet unknown to Foundation researchers, but is presumed to be similar to observed in victims of SCP-1204. The pressure exerted on cerebral blood vessels by these structures causes headaches in affected individuals, localized towards the front of the skull. Repeated tapping on the affected areas causes the filament-like structures to release large amounts of endorphins, effectively alleviating the pain caused by their swelling. Growth of such structures can be halted via timely administration of Class B amnestics. However, while this method prevents total SCP-632 manifestation from occurring, it does not cause existing symptoms to abate. As SCP-632 manifestation progresses, affected individuals will experience gradual thinning of the anterior brain lining and skull, as bone, muscle, and fat tissue is gradually incorporated into the filament-like structures in the frontal cortex. 6 to 7 days following initial exposure, headaches experienced by affected individuals will increase sharply in intensity and duration. This is due to the filament-like structures having already developed fully into instances of juvenile SCP-632, which greatly exacerbate the pressure on the cerebral blood vessels via the movements. Affected individuals at this point tend to apply increasing amounts of force to the foreheads in order to release enough endorphins to reduce the pain to tolerable levels. Eventually, most affected individuals end up fracturing their own skulls through accidental application of excessive force, at which point 80 to 200 instances of SCP-632 will exit the brain from the weakened point in the forehead. Complete SCP-632 manifestation is usually fatal. However, if promptly attended to by qualified medical personnel, 86% of hosts in the final stage of SCP-632 manifestation do manage to survive, albeit with a permanent decrease in motor function, reduced impulse control, and severe arachnophobia. Breach event log. Date: the 9th of November 1972. Location: Anhui Province. Breach event: the entire town of was reportedly found bludgeoned to death. Rapid response team discovered numerous SCP-632 supercolonies throughout, each comprising thousands of individuals. The supercolonies were thought to sustain themselves on the swarms of flies attracted to the decaying bodies of the villagers. Casualties: 106 dead, 23 injured. Date: 30th of January 1999. Location: Suicheng, Anhui Province. Breach event: Wang Zi, an employee of the Ministry of Agriculture, collapsed at a clinic in downtown Suicheng after reporting to have suffered from chronic headaches. Wang fractured her skull against a concrete wall, resulting in numerous SCP-632 instances breaching a cranial cavity and causing 28 people to be exposed to the sensory triggers. The resultant manifestations were not detected until much later, when 16 of the affected individuals had already managed to expose 291 more individuals of SCP-632. Casualties: 27 dead, 293 injured. Date: 11th of July, 2001. Location: Saomiao, Henan Province. Breach event: Lee Zenting, an 86-year-old woman living alone, was found dead by social workers in her home with her eyes missing. Although her body was not in a state of advanced decomposition, an autopsy revealed almost 100% of her brain to be absent. Foundation agents embedded in the pathology department of hospital gained access to the scene and discovered an SCP-632 colony residing in the ceiling board above Lee's bed. It was theorized that Lee had been rendered bedridden and repeatedly exposed to SCP-632, resulting in almost all her brain tissue being converted into SCP-632 instances. The instances then apparently exited her skull through her eye sockets, as Lee was too weak to fracture her own skull. Casualties: 1 dead, 5 injured. Item number SCP-735. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-735 is to be stored in a locked cell at Research Site 14, with access granted to Level 2 personnel or higher after having undergone a session of preparatory therapy to interact with the device. Description: SCP-735 was discovered in among the personal possessions of after said individual's body had been found, having committed suicide. The SCP in question is, in appearance, a small box constructed of a brushed aluminium-like alloy of unknown composition featuring a slot on one side. Sound is capable of being heard through the slot. When measurements are taken, the object is found to emit low-level magnetic pulses that intensify in the presence of humans. No external power source is required, and indeed the surface of the item contains no input points. Upon contact with the skin, SCP will awaken and begin discussion with the person who touched it. This discussion is immediately and intensely hostile in personal nature. The device apparently has one goal, and that is to incite the person in question to rage as quickly as possible. It does this primarily through profanity and verbal abuse, in a manner seemingly tailored to be the most discomforting to the subject. For example, during the conversation related in Addendum 735A, the vocal patterns of the device were recorded as sounding like an angry, late middle-aged man with a New Jersey accent. SCP-735 is capable of speaking to a subject in any known language and dialect, but has a tendency to use one that will be the most upsetting to the person interacting with it. A notable side effect of interaction with the box is a sharp increase of adrenaline in the subject, far more so than would be normally produced in a similar situation. A control was created by subjecting several D-Class subjects to 2 similar devices. One was SCP-735, the other an identically appearing box with an internal transmitter broadcasting a conversation between an actual human and the subject. In addition, the device seems to possess some kind of psychic ability, as it is able to reference experiences and personality or appearance aspects of the subject in question, despite having no prior contact or, in fact, any kind of visual receptors. The most typical results of interacting with the object are the reduction of the subject to incoherent rage, followed by the attempted immediate destruction of the SCP. While this is occurring, the device will goad the subject on, calling attention to the futility of the actions the subject is taking. Due to the resilience of the alloy, no attempt by a subject to destroy the device has, as yet, been successful. The reasons for this behavior are entirely unknown, though there are a few theories. Dr. the last researcher associated with SCP-735, opined that it may be testing a subject. Another thought is that SCP-735 contains an artificial intelligence that is self-aware and is attempting to commit suicide by seeking assistance. Addendum 735A. The following is a transcript of an interview with SCP-735 and Dr. Hello, 735.
Oh, it's you, you fat f***. What the f*** do you want?
I'm coming to pick up where Dr. left off with you.
That f***. I will be having fun in that cell though. You wanna go join him so you can f*** his
No, I'm here to talk about you today.
Oh yeah, for brains? What about the fact that has been screwing your wife for the past 2 months?
That's not true, and you know it. Anyway, as I said, I'm here to talk about you, not me.
Yeah, you're right. Like how you couldn't get it up last night, even though that fat was pounding your The what that point was on, huh? See, I always knew you were.
Alright, now you know that's really uncalled for.
You mean like that stink that's coming off of you? God, no wonder your wife is fooling around. You look and smell like a rotting buffalo, you unit. You know she has her tongue right now. Oh, she loves doing that. She would never do it to you, you hairy, bloated But that's okay. You like getting that from men.
Shut up! Shut up! I can't help it! I work at this all day just to avoid that house you made me buy. I can't help it if I never have time to go to the gym.
You miserable. You haven't even seen your in 5 years anyway. It's too late for the gym and you still aren't making enough money to satisfy that. That's why I bought your wife that new blues last week.
She said it was on sale!
She would. She's a liar and you're a pathetic moron to believe her.
You piece of You take it back!
Ooh, like you took back that car you bought because of wife made you. Jesus, she's got the rip around your neck, you dog.
You pile of I'll kill you! Just die! 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 Die!
She would.
Shut up! Shut up!
I wouldn't want to be one of them.
I'm not done with that thing! I'm not done with that thing! Don't touch me! No! No! No!
You pussy.
Addendum 735B. After this incident, Dr. is removed from the 735 project. Addendum 735C. A proposal has been requested by Dr. to apply SCP-1331 to SCP-735 in attempts at reducing or neutralizing its effect. This proposal is currently being reviewed by the Ethics Committee and Site-14 administration. Warning. The following file contains images and text that are carriers for anomalous cognitohazardous influences. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. Due to this, it is imperative that all personnel accessing this file be certified as having a cognitive resistance value of no less than 14.5. Should you fail an automated CRV verification, please remain calm and do not move. A member of your site's medical staff will be with you shortly. Please repeat the following phrase slowly and clearly into your terminal microphone. I do not recognize the bodies in the water. Verification complete. User CRV is within acceptable limits. Item number SCP-2316. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Under no circumstances are Foundation personnel to approach SCP-2316. Observation of SCP-2316 must only be carried out by remote dummy probes utilizing video and audio recording equipment. Only those personnel adequately rated for exposure to cognitohazardous anomalies may review footage and audio of SCP-2316. The lake in which SCP-2316 is located has been quarantined and fenced off, and is to be routinely patrolled by individuals who have not been exposed to SCP-2316 and have no prior knowledge of its characteristics. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. Individuals who attempt to bypass the enforced quarantine must be apprehended and moved to Site-33 for a full cognitive influence screening. Individuals who come within 50 meters of the lake containing SCP-2316 are to be considered lost. Description: SCP-2316 is the designation for an anomalous phenomenon existing within Lake within County. SCP-2316 manifests as a group of human corpses floating in a small group at the surface of the water. Due to the nature of SCP-2316, it is uncertain how many individuals' corpses exist within the group. The number is currently estimated at 45, but has been estimated as high as 200 or more. I know who they are. I know their names. Each and every one of them. Don't you? The identities of these corpses are... though DNA testing has been inconclusive. While SCP-2316 appears to be individual instances, it is theorized that SCP-2316 may instead be an entity composed of a collective consciousness. Individual instances of SCP-2316 do not act on their own, but do seem to be able to act collectively as a single unit. The individual instances of SCP-2316 are unrecognizable, and you do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Jeremiah Feynman, Arthur Scott, Dennis Clark, Hart.
SCP-2316 hosts a powerful cognitohazardous effect, causing those who have viewed SCP-2316, are aware of certain parts of its nature, or who are enrolled in the to believe that the individual's instances of SCP-2316 are human beings they recognize, typically from their childhood. Attempting to come into contact with SCP-2316 instances by way of entering lake or touching an instance of SCP-2316 will cause other instances of SCP-2316 to appear. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. Please repeat the following phrase slowly and clearly into your terminal microphone. I do not recognize the bodies in the water. Verification complete. User CRV is within acceptable limits.
They're lying. They know damn well who they are. The cognitohazard is real, but it's just their way of crying for help, of letting people know who they are, who they were.
The additional instances only serve to reinforce and add to the strength of the cognitohazard, compelling affected individuals into the lake. Individuals who enter the lake in this way are lost, and to date, none have been recovered. Addendum 2316.1 Interview. Please repeat the following phrase slowly and clearly into your terminal microphone. I do not recognize the bodies in the water. Verification incomplete. User CRV is not within acceptable limits. User CRV influenced by active cognitohazards. Please stay still. A member of your site's medical staff will be with you shortly.
They don't want to show you, but I will. You need to see this. They were your friends.
Did you ever feel compelled to enter the water? Like something was pulling you in?
What? No, of course not. There's nothing wrong with them. They didn't drag me in. I saw them in the water and went to myself. I needed to see them. I wanted to hear what they were saying. They're my friends.
When you entered the water, what did you see?
Faces. My friends. Faces I recognized. Some I didn't, but they became more familiar as I saw them. I had known them my whole life, but there was something wrong with them.
Wrong with them?
Like the face of someone you see in a dream, where you can't remember it right. There's something wrong. And the way they were speaking,
Speaking? No, that's impossible. They're simply not
moving their mouths, but I could hear them asking for help. They told me. They told me who they were. They told me you knew who they were. That you.
Enough of that. You're clearly succumbing to the cognitohazard. We need to get your medical attention. Agent, if you would.
Get your hands off me. I know all their names, Harrison. I heard them speaking to me. Every single one. All it takes is one person to see them and tell people. And they'll know what you've been trying to hide. Birchwood High School. Class of.
Subdue them. Get them out of here. Take them to mystics and turn that goddamn recorder off.
You'll have a lot of time. You'll need to get away quickly. Go back to the lake. Go into the water. Look into their eyes. It's your friends, your classmates. You took the trip to the lake in the fall of '75 together when you were young. Don't you remember? Look into their eyes. I know you can hear them talking to you, just like they talk to me. Don't let them tell you it's just a cognitohazard. This was their fault. They caused this. We were all innocent kids, don't you remember? And you just got away. You and I? The rest of them are at the bottom of the lake, waiting for us to go back to them and be whole together again. They want us to know. They want us to remember. Wake up, goddammit! Remember the fall of '75, the year we were supposed to graduate. Don't let them make you forget. They're calling to you. Can't you hear them? 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 We didn't know who was in the lake. The Foundation didn't try to save us. They watched and let it happen. Nobody stopped them. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. I know you can. They're waiting for you. We were there with them. Go back to the lake.
Hey guys, Synthetic Alien here. If you like what you've been seeing and you like my new found footage and live action material even more, why not support me on Patreon? Getting the right props and the right locations can be a bit costly sometimes, and even just $1 makes a solid difference in my work. That said, thank you for watching regardless, and off to the next entry we go. Warning. The following SCP is not for the faint-hearted and contains sounds and footage that may trigger certain individuals. Religious individuals in particular may watch the report at their own risk. Viewer discretion is advised. Item number SCP-2852. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Containment of SCP-2852 is to focus on tracking the disruption of incidents where possible and general monitoring of SCP-2852 compatible population centers. All individuals involved in blue level and white level events are to be monitored extensively, and their identities are to be given to local law enforcement as potential terrorist threats. Even when disrupted, individuals involved in blue level and white level events are to be catalogued, and their names are to be sent to local law enforcement agencies. Individuals witnessing the disruption of either event are to be given Class B amnestics. Black level events are to be monitored until conclusion. Afterwards, all participants are to be treated with Class A amnestics and are otherwise treated identically to those affected by other events. Members of Mobile Task Forces Y-36, Y-52, and Y-99 who witness a Black level event are to be treated with Class A amnestics upon retirement or transfer and are to be monitored for any signs of antisocial or otherwise uncharacteristic behavior. If found to have been infected by the Black level event, operatives are to be anesthetized, suspended from all field operations, and redesignated to low-level, low-intensity work, i.e. maintenance and data input. Mobile Task Force Y-36 party crashers are tasked with responding to any SCP-2852 appearance. Mobile Task Forces Y-52 Cadet Duty and Y-99 Outdoor Boys are tasked to identify SCP-2852 events and provide backup to Mobile Task Force Y-36 as needed. Mobile Task Forces Y-52 and Y-99 are to establish presence within communities where 60% of the population is Roman Catholic or, as of Revision 28527, Anglican. Any SCP-2852 instance found attached to a different religious group must be reported to a researcher with Level 4 2852 clearance immediately. While currently isolated to the North American subcontinent, all SCP-2852 compatible communities are to be monitored for an uncharacteristic rise in juvenile delinquency, sterility, domestic violence, and divorce rates. Description: Instances of SCP-2852 have the appearance of a middle-aged white male. Biologically, the cells of SCP-2852 instances are genetically identical and human. However, instances do not have any identifiable organs. Their bodies are made up of fibrous muscular tissue, with their teeth and hair being made out of chitin, chemically similar to those of the cicada family. The eyes of SCP-2852 instances, while looking non-anomalous from a distance, are set in the sockets without any nerve connection. While capable of speech despite having no vocal cords or analogous organs, SCP-2852 instances do not show any grasp of language, speaking in a word salad. Despite this, all individuals at an SCP-2852 compatible event will perceive the subject as speaking intelligibly and will regard its actions as normal, unless briefed of its anomalous properties beforehand. Individuals describe SCP-2852 as being playful with a crude sense of humor, and all individuals affected in an SCP-2852 event will refer to the subject as Cousin Johnny. While sentient, SCP-2852 instances do not appear sapient. SCP-2852 instances appear at various Catholic and Anglican religious functions and are treated as being an established member of the family. Instances of SCP-2852 are accepted regardless of family resemblance or ethnicity. The entity appears at baptisms, weddings, and funerals, referred to as blue level, white level, and black level events, respectively. Currently, no SCP-2852 instance has been found to appear at any other family gathering. All attempts at tracking SCP-2852 instances before and after an event have met with failure. The entities are able to appear at such events as though they had always been there, alternately appearing between frames when under surveillance or simply evading any attempt by operatives to keep them out of an event. All tracking devices placed on SCP-2852 instances have malfunctioned immediately, with the entity evading any surveillance. Each family gathering that SCP-2852 attends results in different behavior from the subject and different effects. Generally, the effects of SCP-2852 appearing at a family gathering result in more serious damage done to the children, although adults are not free from its effects. It is worth noting that stopping an SCP-2852 instance before it involves itself in the religious ritual will not stop its effects from spreading, although they may be diluted. The appearance of SCP-2852 at an event is enough for its effects to start spreading among the family. When questioned after an event, all affected individuals report a feeling of fondness towards SCP-2852, regardless of its actions during an event.
SCP-2852's effects at a Blue Level event are present more strongly in the child's being baptized, its parents, and any godparents chosen for the occasion. During the baptismal ritual, SCP-2852 will involve itself directly in the proceedings, acting as a third godparent when traditionally there are only two, a male and female. Blue Level events proceed identically despite the presence of a third godparent, until the child is submerged into the water. Immediately, the child's top layer of skin will slough off in one piece as though molting. This process does not seem to harm the child in any meaningful way. The godparents will then eat the skin between each other. Afterwards, the mass will go on as normal, and SCP-2852 will exit along with the family. It is of note that SCP-2852 does not appear at any family celebration held after the baptism. The baptized child has a chance of dying within the next 6 months well above the national average. Living children exhibit multiple Cluster B personality disorders. Most join anti-capitalist groups, various GOIs, or, if unchecked, will engage in destructive behaviors usually manifesting in self-harm, abuse of animals, or abuse of small children. Godparents and biological parents will be rendered sterile, regardless of SCP-2852's success in becoming part of the baptismal ritual. Both groups commit suicide within 5 years of a Blue Level event, normally through drowning. All individuals not involved in the baptismal ritual are 500% more likely than the national average to have stillbirths. Those who are still capable of having children are far more likely to abandon them, sometimes allowing the child to die in the process. One couple affected by a Blue Level event in Ohio gave birth to triplets, which they then tore apart and hung from trees around their property. Past adolescence into adulthood, children exposed to the song of cicadas respond with extreme anxiety and accompanying physical symptoms such as dry mouth, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and headaches. Some subjects' agitation escalates into violent outbursts, which have resulted in at least 20 fatalities. When interviewed about the cause of their disturbance, no subjects have ever identified cicada song as a trigger for their episodes. Even in one interview involving Level 5 enhanced interrogation, the subject never indicated the role of cicada song in his attack on Parish, which resulted in 18 dead and 10 wounded, including his parents and 3 siblings.
White Level. During the marriage ceremony, SCP-2852 will insert itself as a groomsman, and its most deleterious anomalous effects will only manifest after the vows. After the rings have been exchanged, SCP-2852 will produce various implements that allow the bridesmaid and groomsmen to pull out their teeth one by one. The individuals seem to be oblivious to any pain that would normally take place during such an event, and blood loss through still unknown means does not occur. The bride and groom will be presented with the teeth and will eat them. Damage done to the bride and groom's teeth and jaws are extensive, but any blood loss that occurs will not be fatal. The groom will then, in place of vows, vocalize a currently unknown cicada song, which has been known to reach 140 decibels, rendering the bride and those on the altar deaf. Currently, no groom has been deafened by his own call. At the wedding reception, SCP-2852 will take the role of the best man and give a speech. This speech, as all vocalizations of SCP-2852, will be nonsensical with no pattern to the words used. Individuals react to the speech with mixed emotions, some crying uncontrollably and others falling into hysterical laughter. After the speech, SCP-2852 will produce a gift for the married couple. This gift, currently, has always been 3.5 kilograms of human hair of various colors, 13 deceased specimen of Tobison Linnae, and 23 human teeth in a cardboard box. DNA testing on all gifts have been inconclusive. The bride and groom of a white level event will divorce on average 2 years after their wedding, usually as the result of domestic violence. Any children produced during that marriage will have cluster B personality disorders or life-threatening disfigurements. All married individuals attending the event will find themselves unable to have children despite a lack of detectable changes to fertility-related biology. Sperm counts and sperm quality remain unaffected. Ovulation also remains unchanged, and no genetic irregularities have been observed in eggs. The Foundation has arranged a statistically significant number of hysterectomies for guests at white level events. The surgeries are prescribed and administered by third-party agents in the medical industry. Exhaustive biopsies, chemical analysis, and mechanical inspections of the extracted uteri and ovaries have failed to yield any signs of abnormality. All children involved in a white level event will avoid romantic relationships, and 9 out of 10 commit suicide by the age of 18. Roughly half pull out their teeth until blood completely blocks the airways. The others bite their own wrists until exsanguinated. Black level. Black level events are notable in that any attempt to disrupt the event through any means result in the actor becoming a participant in the event. Currently, there exists no way to stop or end a black level event. Any attempts at barring SCP-2852 instances from the church or funeral homes result in SCP-2852 simply appearing in a pew. During a black level event, SCP-2852 will take the place of the eulogizer, even if one was not scheduled to speak during the Mass. The speech, as any vocalization by SCP-2852, will be nonsensical with no patterns being found. However, as the subject speaks, the individual closest to the departed will open the casket to produce a long knife. The knives found during the black level event are not seen before the event and disappear after the event. The individual will then exsanguinate themselves, normally from the wrist, but there have been instances where individuals have slit their throats. In turn, 2 by 2, each attendant will use the knife to pour their blood into the casket. Children too young to exsanguinate themselves are helped by adults. Despite many losing enough blood to result in death, no physical effects are seen in the participants. SCP-2852's speech eventually turns into the song of an adult male Tobison Linnae. All participants will respond with the same call, despite the song of the cicada being limited to the male. SCP-2852 will stand at the pulpit until each individual has bled themselves, and then will walk to the casket and vomit a mixture of blood, wood pulp, and dead specimen of Tobison Linnae. It is currently unknown how SCP-2852 instances are able to hold the mixture within themselves, due to the lack of any cavity of sufficient size in its body. Once finished, the funeral mass will go on as normal, and the casket, filled with blood and SCP-2852's vomit, will be taken to the cemetery and lowered into the earth as is normal for a Catholic or Anglican funeral service. Black level events normally will end there. If a family gathering was planned to take place after the funeral, SCP-2852 will attend. SCP-2852 will, once all individuals affected have come to the location, vomit a similar mixture of blood, wood pulp, and dead Tobison Linnae into a bowl. This mixture will be primarily eaten by the affected children. After this has been eaten, SCP-2852 will give another speech of nonsensical words without patterns, strip itself, and lay upon a table. The participants then will eat SCP-2852's flesh until there is nothing left. During this, SCP-2852 will still vocalize, even when suffering from mortal injuries. Participants have been known to carry on friendly conversation with SCP-2852 while eating it. Children unable to chew whole food properly will be fed mouth to mouth by any caregivers. All participants of a Black Level event will break from their family either through suicide, moving, or divorce. Every individual involved in an event will be rendered sterile. Domestic violence and participations of Black Level events will usually be of cannibalistic nature, resulting in the death of one or both individuals. 6 out of 10 children involved will attempt to murder one or both of their parents before they turn 18. It is theorized that nearly a third of Catholic and Anglican D class were involved in a Black Level event.
Item number SCP-3020. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Known individuals affected by SCP-3020 are to be quarantined at Areas 39, 42, 94, 102, and 129. They are to be kept in standard, non-anomalous human containment cells, and efforts are to be made to ease any symptoms of SCP-3020 infestation, including injections of LDOPA twice daily into the kidneys. Samples of SCP-3020 are to be studied only at the aforementioned areas under BSL-4. Human interaction with SCP-3020 samples is forbidden. Instead, all testing is to take place using robotic armatures. Armatures that have been in contact with SCP-3020 are to be heated to 400 degrees centigrade to ensure the extermination of all SCP-3020 cells and eggs. Description: SCP-3020 is a microscopic organism of unknown genera and species, measuring less than a micron in length. SCP-3020 was believed to be most closely related to the rabies lyssavirus virus, but observation has led the Foundation to believe that SCP-3020 is actually a parasitic organism resembling a viral body. SCP-3020 is small enough to pass the blood-brain barrier and manifests solely in human beings, who are also the sole vector of the transmission of SCP-3020. Humans infested by SCP-3020 begin to show symptoms similar to individuals affected by major depressive disorder. SCP-3020 is incurable, but treatable through LDOPA injections at early stages. SCP-3020 operates by feeding on the chemical LDOPA, a precursor chemical to dopamine, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. This causes a severe dopamine deficiency in the body, causing symptoms resembling Parkinson's disease in addition to depressive symptoms, due to the fact that LDOPA is responsible for the synthesis of epinephrine. Infestation by SCP-3020 destroys the fight-or-flight response. SCP-3020 spreads through the body in sweat and tears of the infested subjects. Physical contact will cause a mild alleviation of symptoms related to SCP-3020 infestation, but also pose a severe risk for infection if individuals are not properly protected. SCP-3020 spawn are incapable of surviving in very harsh conditions outside of the human body, as have been found capable of surviving temperatures up to -30 degrees centigrade. Like most viral or parasitic organisms, high concentrations of heat will kill SCP-3020. SCP-3020 appears to be capable of surviving outside of the human body indefinitely. SCP-3020 cannot be treated through the use of traditional antidepressant or antipsychotic medication that works on the principles of dopamine regulation, due to the lack of dopamine in the body. The symptoms of SCP-3020 infestation can be classified into 5 stages. Stage 1. Paranoia. Subjects begin having strong bouts of paranoid delusions, particularly the delusion that they are universally hated by all individuals they perceive as being associated with them. Subjects infested with SCP-3020 will begin to cease contact with individuals that they associate with. This also serves to limit the spread of SCP-3020 in its initial stages of infection, allowing it to flourish, until such a time where the subject has enough colonies of SCP-3020 within them to effectively spread it. Stage 2. Fear. Paranoia in subjects becomes severe, and the subjects are afraid that everyone is judging them, and believe that all individuals associating with them want them to die, like their lives would be better off if you got out of them. So, you do. You bury yourself under work. Subjects often cut off contact with everyone who knew them. And you cry. Subjects who enter depressive episodes at this state often tremor violently, due to the aforementioned dopamine deficiency, causing symptoms of Parkinson's disease to manifest. Physical contact at this stage will lead to a high chance of SCP-3020 infection, especially if contact is made with skin or tears. Stage 3. Anger. Due to the lack of dopamine, negative emotional responses become more common, including outbursts of anger. Outbursts of anger caused by SCP-3020 often lead to further terminated relationships within the subject's social and familial circles. Subjects at this stage often contemplate suicide, but only 42% of infected individuals carry it out at this stage. At this point, treatment with LDOPA supplements become ineffective, and subjects begin to report a lack of sensation in their extremities. Stage 4. Numbness. Subjects are capable of moving their extremities, but are incapable of feeling tactile or pain sensation. This is believed to be partially psychosomatic, but also is due to the violent tremors causing difficulties in blood flow to the extremities. In addition, subjects will report a lack of gustatory and olfactory sensations. Comparisons have been made between this phenomenon and a perpetual head cold. Subjects will often remain sedentary for hours, if not days at a time, due to SCP-3020 multiplying within their system. SCP-3020 appears to be most effective at multiplying when subjects are conscious but sedentary. Stage 5. Terminal infection. Between 55 and 72% of all subjects at this stage attempt suicide and are often unable to move to the severity of the tremors they experience. Subjects will often plead to die or be killed. At this point, physical contact with subjects provides the most relief for SCP-3020 symptoms, but also carries the highest risk of infection. Following the death of the subject, SCP-3020 eggs will appear in all bodily fluid and tissues, increasing the risk of infection severely. Addendum. The original author of this file, Dr. Lawrence Packard, was inadvertently exposed to SCP-3020 during a containment breach at Area 39. As of this writing, Dr. Packard is still under the Foundation's employment, but is kept in quarantine. Dr. Packard may continue other aspects of his work, but is to be denied all access to SCP-3020's containment file. Item number SCP-3020. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Known individuals affected by SCP-3020 are
To be terminated on sight.
and efforts are to be made to ease any symptoms of SCP-3020 infestation.
It might be kinder to just kill them.
SCP-3020 is incurable.
And untreatable, even with high doses of L-Dopa injected into the kidneys.
Physical contact will cause a mild alleviation of symptoms related to SCP-3020 infestation, but also pose a severe risk for infection if individuals are not properly protected.
Anyone want a hug?
Like most viral or parasitic organisms, high concentrations of heat will kill SCP-3020.
As will toxic chemicals such as bleach.
Stage 2.
Angst.
Subjects often cut off contact with everyone who knew them.
And you cry. I didn't know someone could cry so much that they became incapable of producing tears.
At this point, treatment with LDOPA supplements become ineffective, and subjects begin to report a lack of sensation in their extremities.
These haven't even started yet. Thank God.
SCP-3020 appears to be most effective at multiplying when subjects are conscious but sedentary.
I need to ask for spicier food. Addendum. I feel like shit. It's been 10 days since I was first infected. Symptoms have manifested more quickly than in other subjects. I can't help but wonder if this is psychosomatic to some degree. This isn't replacing the actual 3020 file. Just a draft I'm keeping on my PC for the time being. I've studied this for 2 years, and I'm dreading the next phase. Dr. Lawrence Packard. Edit made 231 days ago. Next edit made 182 days ago.
They are to be kept in standard, non-anomalous human containment cells, and efforts are to be made to ease any symptoms of SCP-3020 infestation, including injections of
This doesn't work.
Description.
SCP-3020 is a microscopic parasitic organism with an appearance that mimics the rabies lyssavirus virus. Until recently, the identity SCP-3020 was ambiguous. But recent testing has shown that SCP-3020 is indeed a member of the Kingdom Animalia and not a virus.
SCP-3020 operates by feeding on the chemical LDOPA.
And tryptophan, precursor chemicals to dopamine, epinephrine, and norepinephrine, and serotonin respectively.
No, shit! Damn it! Fuck! It's wrong! Test came back weird. Shit! Fucking useless fucking fuck!
SCP-3020 appears to be capable of surviving outside of the human body indefinitely.
For at least 6 weeks, Foundation researcher Claudia Packard was infected by SCP-3020 following interaction with material previously thought to be decontaminated. It's my fault.
Stage 1. Paranoia.
Nobody's going to forgive me for what happened to Claudia.
Paranoia in subjects becomes severe, and the subjects are afraid that everyone is judging them.
And know that all your former co-workers hate your guts.
At this point, treatment with LDOPA supplements become ineffective, and subjects begin to report a lack of sensation in their extremities.
This hasn't happened yet. I guess that's something lucky. Addendum. I don't care if I spread the infection at this point. Claudia got it from interacting with my clothing. It was disinfected thoroughly. I don't know what happened. I can't even see her anymore. She can't visit. She's locked up in a cell, maybe another side. Is it evolving? Am I making it evolve? Did someone give it to her on purpose? Who did it? Who hurt Claudia? Who hurt her? I know the answer. I did. Edit made 182 days ago. Next edit made 150 days ago.
Item number SCP-3020. Object Class.
Spiteful motherfucker.
Special Containment Procedures.
Individuals acting as hosts for SCP-3020 are to be allowed to self-terminate for whatever means they wish.
Description.
SCP-3020 is a parasite that causes bouts of depression and anger by eating the chemicals that make dopamine and epinephrine. The only way to cure SCP-3020 is by killing yourself or someone killing you. I saw Claudia the other day. They let us visit. Hugging doesn't work if you're both infected. We were repulsed. We fought. She thought I
had been screwing someone else before I got infected. I tried to tell her that I wasn't. Claudia is... The last thing I heard her say was, "I hate you." Then she tried gouging out my eyes before the guards pulled her off. And I heard her screaming all the way down the hall as people in yellow suits marched me into the decontamination shower and shoved me into the new cell. I hate you. That makes two of us. I did this to you. I'll infect a dozen more before I die. Anything that I can use to hurt myself has been taken out of the room. I've been moved to a cell with a bed attached to the wall. My computer screen is a projection, and my keyboard is a touchscreen. I want to die. You won't let me die. You won't let any of us die. I thought I could help us too, when I studied them. I thought I could fix them. You can put glue on a shattered glass, but you won't fix it. I keep on thinking that I'll let Claudia look over these reports for errors once I'm done with them. Then I remember what I did. It's all my fault. She was the best thing in my life. She utterly hates me. I sometimes think I can hear her screaming at night, and I want to scream back. I want to scream I'm sorry, but she won't hear me. The walls here are a meter thick at least. We've been trying to cure this for over 5 years now. I've worked for 3 of them. We're not even close to neutralizing them. I've reached stage 4, maybe stage 5. I've eaten nothing but spicy food for weeks. I can't taste anything else. The tremors are started, but they're still controllable for the most part. I've only seen it secondhand. Let me tell you firsthand how it feels. There's a dull ache in the back of your head. You're not sure if you feel it, or if you only think you feel it, but it's always there. The same ache is also in your stomach. This ache talks, and it tells you that you need to die to make people happy. It says you have not accomplished anything in your life. It says you will be forgotten. It says that nobody really loved you. And you know it's true. You know it's not true, but it is. 302 is just going to keep spreading. We're not sure how much of the general population is infected already. Conservative estimates are at 0.003% worldwide. It's going to get much, much higher. We need to die. We, everyone infected with SCP-302. You're doing everyone a favor. We don't want to live. And you're curing what could be the next Black Death. Edit made 90 days ago. Last edit made 5 days ago.
Armatures that have been in contact with SCP-3020 are to be heated to 400 degrees centigrade to ensure the extermination of all SCP-3020 cells and eggs.
Individuals who have reached Stage 5 of SCP-3020 infestation are permitted to be euthanized if they so wish. Stage 6. Melancholia. Dopamine levels in the body begin to normalize should individuals survive past Stage 5. Subjects will continue to show symptoms of SCP-302 infestation, but on a less severe scale. Suicidal urges still exist, and are often acted upon. To date, 2 individuals, former Foundation employees Dr. Lawrence Packard and his wife Dr. Claudia Packard, have reached this stage. Both have been moved into a communal cell for observation. And in them, you win. This is SCP-302's most insidious feature. You learn to live with it. We both have. But I know that if I were out of containment, this would just mean I could spread it further. It'll become even worse when it decides to make the dull eggs you feel sharper, heavier break down. You win. That's all there is to it. I can't do anything about you. You're with me until I die. Both of you. Claudia's made dinner, or what passes for it, using the rations we've been given. Almost tastes like our favorite. Everything's gonna be fine. Lawrence Packard.
Item number SCP-7. Object class Key. Special containment procedures. SCP-732 is currently uncontained. However, if containable, let alone contained, SCP-732 should be kept away from all vital records and subject must be provided with 1,500 rumention in a secret lab with which to combat crime and villainy. Compromised records must be destroyed to avoid further contamination of our database. Description: SCP-732 is a force or entity which just our records into fanfiction rambling. Subject has psychic powers and can blow people up with the blink of an eye. Bouts are currently unknown. Inquiries into the nature of SCP-732 have met with little success. While there is no certain evidence, it is theorized that subject-like code classics of our records have been compromised by SCP-732. Addendum 732-1. A recent breach in SCP
I'm an orphan with no family but lots of money.
containment, which should have warranted the simple and safe procedure of somehow, led to the deployment of Mobile Task Force Omega-7. SCP-076
and now he's my best friend ever.
was quite displeased when he found that the elfin death god he was sent to contain was not a death god of any sort at all, quite on a date with SCP-105. Displeased. For the sake of our remaining budget, it is strongly advised that more effective methods be found for countering SCP-732's corruption. Dr. Item number SCP-049. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. SCP-049 is to be contained in the secure holding cell research sector. SCP-049 is not to be removed from its cell unless approved by level 2 or higher personnel, before which SCP-049 must be heavily sedated. Even so, at such times, SCP-049 is to be accompanied by 2 armed guards and guided by an iron collar, secured to 2 iron poles 2 meters in length, and held firmly by 2 level 1 or higher personnel while in transit. Any experiments performed in SCP-049 are to be conducted inside of specifically prepared rooms. See document 042-D3-18. SCP-049's cell should be monitored at all times via a security camera. Should any abnormal behavior occur, Dr. is to be alerted at once. Description: SCP-049 is humanoid in appearance, standing at 1.9 meter tall and weighing 95.3 kilograms. However, the Foundation is currently incapable of studying its face and body more fully, as it discovered in what appears to be the garb of the traditional plague doctor from the 15th to 16th century Europe. This material is actually a part of SCP-049's body, as microscopic and genetic testing show it to be similar in structure to muscle, although it feels much like rough leather, and the mask much like ceramic. It was originally discovered in England by local police. Mobile Task Force responded to a suspected outbreak of all civilians within a 5-kilometer radius were given Class A amnestics as part of the initial containment procedure.
SCP-049 does not speak, see Addendum A1, although it seems to understand English perfectly well and is completely docile until it tries to perform surgery. SCP-049's touch is invariably lethal to humans. After contact with SCP-049's hands, the victim, hereafter referred to as SCP-049-2, suffers and dies within moments. SCP-049 will then attempt to kill all humans it can see in a similar manner, supposedly to avoid interruption, before returning to SCP-049-2. It produces a bag made of containing scalpels, needle, thread, and several vials of an as yet unidentified substance. From somewhere within its body, researchers have been unable to locate these tools when inside of SCP-049 through X-ray and similar techniques, and begins dissecting SCP-049-2, as well as inserting various chemicals into the body. After approximately 20 minutes, SCP-049 will sew SCP-049-2 back up and become docile once more. After a period of a few minutes, SCP-049-2 will resume vital signs and appears to reanimate. However, SCP-049-2 seems completely without higher brain functions and will wander aimlessly until it encounters another living human. At that point, SCP-049-2's adrenaline and endorphin levels increase to approximately 300% as it attempts to kill any human beings it can find, before returning to its mindless state and wandering until it comes across more humans. At this stage, termination with extreme prejudice is allowed. Failure to enforce this protocol outside of testing scenarios, see Addendum T-049-12, is punishable by termination. Detailed autopsies of SCP-049-2 have found several unusual substances, along with usual substances in large amounts, within the bodies, including. However, several have yet to be identified. Researchers with Level 3 or higher authorization, referred to Addendum C1. Addendum A1. SCP-049 spoke for the first time today, the 6th of December 2000, addressing Dr. A full account of the conversation is attached. Interviewed SCP-049. Interviewer Dr. Forward. SCP-049 randomly began speaking with no obvious provocation en route to a testing facility. Dr. was recording notes at the time on a handheld microphone. Irrelevant data has been omitted.
What is this place?
What? It's
a laboratory. It is quite marvelous. I now find it no wonder I've seen so few victims of the disease in here.
Yeah. You see, I thought you incapable of speech. I'm somewhat startled you, can.
Oh, my, yes, good sir. I simply prefer not to. Most victims of the disease are quite melancholy and do not react at all well to conversation. I have seen you several times now and have not detected the disease in you. Therefore, I assume you are also a doctor.
Yes, actually. Call me. But what disease are you talking about?
Why, good doctor, the Great Pestilence. What else?
Great Pestilence? Oh, that. Should have seen that coming. But no one is infected, I can assure you.
Oh, good doctor, I can assure you the pestilence is here, and I can sense it. It is my duty in life to rid the world of it. My cure is most effective.
Your cure? Your cure has cost us hundreds of lives. Your cure is faulty.
Oh, good doctor, my cure is most effective.
SCP-049 lapsed once again into silence, and no further attempts to make it speak were effective. Closing statement. We managed to get our tests done for that day. Trying to figure out what causes it to perform surgery, or more accurately, what it detects as a pestilence. So far, research has shown us no correlation between any of the D-Class personnel it has performed surgery on. We're still working on it. Dr. Addendum C1. Level 3 authorization required. On the 26th of April 2000, SCP-049 managed to break containment. During the roughly 5-minute period in which it was unsupervised, it came into contact with SCP. Upon being detained, SCP-049 was very calm and amiable. Since this time, however, SCP-049 has been shown to be much more talkative, leading up to and performing surgery. I don't know what 049 and that damn mask talked about, but he seems much happier overall. He no longer seems to simply sit and mope around in his cell, and several staff have claimed to hear him humming old church hymns. In addition, in the moments leading up to performing surgery, he has started talking, apparently trying to comfort his victim, claiming that he is the cure, among other things. The focus of our research has been shifted towards finding out what the hell he and talked about during that old chat. Dr.
Item number SCP-048. Object Class None. Special Containment Procedures. The designation SCP-048 is to be retired from the SCP catalog. No future SCPs are to be assigned this number. Description: SCP-048 has long been considered the cursed SCP number by SCP staff. Any items given this designation tend to be destroyed, decommissioned, stolen, or otherwise lost to the Foundation, usually through no fault of any individual person. In addition, personnel assigned to SCP-048 in its various incarnations have had a 50% higher rate of turnover due to death, dismemberment, and disciplinary action. Whether or not the number 048 actually has any supernatural qualities is unknown, but given the superstition around this number, the designation has been removed from the catalog in order to help maintain employee morale.
Addendum 1. This is ridiculous. I'll prove to you superstitious bastards that you're all just being pussies. The restriction SCP-048 is now removed and assigned to Dr. Cortez.
Addendum 2. SCP-048 was accidentally thrown into the trash this morning and lost. In an unrelated incident, Dr. Cortez's arms were accidentally traumatically amputated in a horrific lunchroom blender accident. SCP-048 closed. 0511. Addendum 3. SCP-048 has been once again removed from the archives after it became highly apparent that no such vampire boat had ever existed, much less come under Foundation control. It's currently believed that this error occurred when a low-level researcher attempted to save his quote-unquote awesome story idea to his hard drive and instead overwrote the blank slot reserved for SCP-048. Said researcher has been removed from any and all archival duties for the time being. 0511.
Item number SCP-1591. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-1591 is to be contained at Area 79 within a containment vault 100 meters below the surface level. SCP-1591 is to be placed in the center of this vault, with 30 high-intensity spotlights arranged in a 1-meter circular pattern, above, below, and around it. Once every month, the spotlights are to be replaced by D-Class personnel, due to the damage caused by SCP-1591's effect. An equivalent set of spotlights are to be kept in position outside the vault in case of containment procedures failing or being enacted incorrectly. An R&D team headquartered within Area 79 is completely dedicated to developing and engineering the increasingly advanced containment light mechanisms and maintaining the electrical infrastructure necessary to continue SCP-1591's containment. Materials from SCP have been implemented as part of the research, and use of other objects is under consideration. Photosensitive broadcasting units are to be set up above, below, and around the vault to monitor for a containment breach. If any photosensitive broadcasting units cease to function, surface teams are to prepare 75 high-intensity spotlights with an intensity 600,000 LX greater than SCP-1591's intensity to seize the expansion of SCP-1591's effect. In the event that containment is breached, O5 Command is to be alerted to the possibility of an XK class end-of-the-world scenario. Description: SCP-1591 is a glass sculpture in the shape of a star, surrounded by 14 sheets of stained glass. The central sculpture weighs 1.2 kilograms, with the individual panels weighing 12 kilograms each. All components of SCP-1591 are suspended approximately 6 meters above the ground through an as-yet unknown mechanism. To date, efforts to affect the levitation of either the sculpture or the panels have been unsuccessful. SCP-1591 constantly produces light with gradually increasing brightness and intensity. Any surface illuminated by SCP-1591 will appear to become inconsistently transparent, and if not removed, any affected matter will disappear from observable space. Non-solid matter that makes contact with light produced by SCP-1591 will begin to rapidly decrease in temperature until it takes on a solid form. SCP-1591 is immune to its own effect. Organisms will retain consciousness and mobility while being affected by SCP-1591, although the ability to create speech will be lost. Affected organisms will usually react in a panicked manner, attempting to flee from SCP-1591's light as quickly as possible. If an affected organism ceases being exposed to SCP-1591's light, it will quickly fade and vanish. Further research of this effect has been inhibited by the continued destruction of observational equipment. SCP-1591 being exposed to lights with a greater intensity than its own will cause the rate at which its brightness increases to be reduced by 10,000 LX to 50,000 LX every 24 hours. The intensity of the light produced by SCP-1591 does not decrease over distance. SCP-1591 was recovered in 1940 from Italy, where it was in the possession of known Serpent's Hand operatives. During initial containment, SCP-1591's effect was negligible, taking over 82 hours to completely destroy a 3x4x3 meter wooden block. It was contained within Site-77's safe containment wing. Focusing light on SCP-1591 was discovered to prevent its effect from spreading. Initially, the light required for containment of SCP-1591 was relatively low. In February of 1941, Site-77 was partially damaged by Allied bombing raids. These bombs caused SCP-1591's containment to be breached, resulting in most of the remaining portions of Site-77 being destroyed. After control of the facility was re-established, SCP-1591 was discovered to be significantly more hazardous and reclassified as Euclid. A second containment breach resulted in Site-77 being severely damaged and the loss of personnel. Addendum: 19th May 1941. Several documents relating to SCP-1591 were recovered by Mobile Task Force Sigma-3 bibliographers from a location inhabited by members of the Serpent's Hand. These included photographs, diagrams, and documents. One example has been included in this report.
War with Elrich. We had been at peace for almost 568 years, but they had decided to declare war upon us. The Vergers tried to assure us that we would be defended, safe from the king's wrath. Killed. All killed. I saw little boys strung up by their backs, snapping in half as they were wrenched up towards the stars. Women were struck down in the streets, lanced and stabbed until they begged to die. Men who fought back were blinded and made lame, then displayed proudly in shop windows. My mother was shaved, boiled, and eaten by a pillaging group of warriors. It was pure decimation, far beyond what had been necessary to bring vengeance to their kingdom. When the heavens saw this, they cast their eyes away, disgusted by the Elrichian carnage. The heavens cast themselves to earth. They could not stand to watch any longer, and soon they were falling every moment. First only in our lands, then on theirs, bringing an even worse carnage than what we had suffered. I could smell the burning from the northern provinces. This star is a gift to you from heaven. In the right hands, it will be a tool to bring down senselessness. But do not forget its origin. If the hatred and carnage once again reaches light, it will cast down purity, wiping it from your lands. The stars are beautiful tonight.